Hello, I'm Rena Deepthi Annabelle, aka Mommy Imperfect, and you're listening to the Sisterhood of Mommy Imperfect, the podcast where each and every week I explore the wonderful world of womanhood, and it's a place where you get your weekly dose of unfiltered girl chat, and also the place where we celebrate those women who are game changers. So I have one of those game changers with me right now. She plays the lead role in a new British Asian film called Little English. She was phenomenal in it. It's actress Rameet Rauli. Hello.
Woo! Hello.
Thank you for joining me. I'm so glad that we're able to do this.
Thank
Um,
you. Thanks for having me.
I first of all want to say that I had the pleasure of seeing that movie, Little English, a couple of weeks ago at the gala screening in Soho. I think the film was like, I have to say, it surpassed my expectations. I don't know what I was expecting, but I feel like the
In
trailer
a good
does.
way, I hope.
Yes. Like, I feel like the trailer doesn't do it justice. I think I just didn't, and I like that when I go into a film and I don't know much about it because I didn't know much about it, and I like to have that surprise. So,
Mm.
I really, really liked it, and I really feel like it was time for another British Asian movie like this because I don't remember. I mean, like, I don't know, we're talking like Bargy on the Beach, Bend It Like Beckham days, right? So
Yeah.
it's been a while. And I think that you were fabulous in it. And that was, for me, you were one of the, shining stars of the movie. So I just want to say well done.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. That's so kind. It was definitely a collective effort from everyone. We're such an ensemble piece on the film, but yeah, I'm so glad you came and supported. So thank you.
No, of course. So has it been a bit overwhelming, all this? Because I know you're quite busy with everything. And even on that night, I was like, wow, it's just,
It's
yeah.
been so intense. It's been so overwhelming, but like a good overwhelming. And our film sort of started. Um, we did the festival circuit, and it was really low budget, and then just to see it grow and grow and finally get a cinema release is just it's amazing. And yeah, just overwhelmed. I don't know what day it is. I don't know what month. I don't know where I am right now, but it's been so lovely. Like, yeah, so lovely.
Because like we actually met in real life before, right? Before, and the funny thing is that it's before all of this kicked off, and because for people that don't know, like, so we were doing a read through together. I didn't get the part, you probably did, but it's all good. But anyway, so I met you on that day, and I remember that you and the other actors that were there at the read through mentioned, oh, we did a film together. That's all that was said about it. I had no idea what this film was, what was about to come. Were you kind of like quite oblivious then to how it was gonna all pan out?
Yeah, I mean, we had no idea that we'd get into the festivals and then sort of a cinema release because it all happened so sort of fast, and you kind of come away because we filmed this. Don't forget, Rena, like in 2021 in COVID.
Oh,
So
okay.
we filmed during COVID, and seeing the process of an independent film and the challenges that it has to go through. So the journey's been quite a long time, but a lovely one, because you rather it sort of like have this view, people be sort of like, oh, that's a film in it, and discover it rather than be bombarded with it. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's been yeah, I can't even process it. It's just been wonderful.
Yeah, but that kind of struggle of getting something made that's like from the heart as well, and you don't have that much support because let's face it, we British Asians don't have that much financial support when it comes to making films in this country. So I'm really proud of Pravesh, who has directed the movie, because he's come from a theatre background. It's his first film, and for me, like somebody who's also from a writing, directing, theatre background, that's so nice to see. Like, you don't understand, like, if you guys are inspiring a whole bunch of people, so it's a lovely thing.
Oh, he's amazing. He's like, this script was a play first. I don't know if you know, and he did this about 10 years ago, and it was really successful. But it ended up he's adapted it to screen, and he's such a champion for like South Asians. Like, he's been working. Rifco Arts has been sort of the frontliners, I suppose, for sort of
Yeah.
South Asian talent. And after 20 years, he's adapted this and made his debut feature, which is something to celebrate. And we're still having those challenges. We're still sort of up against so many barriers, and which is sad. It's really sad. Like, we should be in such a different place right now.
I know, because I feel a bit like America is kind of ahead of us. Like the brown people there are doing their thing and they're having their moment, but it's just all right. You guys are, change makers. That's what I said. You're game changers. And I think feel like things. There's going to be a bit of momentum. But anyway, I don't want to give too many spoilers away in the about the film. But can you just tell the listeners, like in a nutshell, what the film is about?
Yeah, sure. So the film is about a dysfunctional Punjabi family. It's set in sunny Slough, so very close to home, and it's literally the sort of trials and tribulations of any family. My character, I play Simmy, and Simmy's a new bride, arrived from India, speaks very little English, and it's just her adjusting to sort of life in Britain, and it's very comedic. It's a heartwarming rom-com drama. You'll definitely go through a lot of roller coaster emotions through this.
Mm.
I
Emotion.
hope.
Yeah, definitely. All the emotions, laughing, crying, everything. So what was it that attracted you to the role of that character, Simi?
Well, funny thing is, initially I auditioned for Sweetie, and I sent
Oh,
I sent my tape in, and I was asked to record for her, and I loved Sweetie. She's one of my favorite characters in
I
the
know,
film.
I loved her too.
She's
Yeah.
amazing, isn't she? And Nikki Patel is just phenomenal. I can't imagine anyone else playing that part now. But yeah, so I sent my tape in for Sweetie, and then I think Pravesh was like, she should try for Simmi if she speaks Punjabi. And I was like, okay, cool. And the funny thing is, when I got the script, I started learning the lines for Simmi by accident, anyways. And I was like, sort of, the name was S, and I was looking for S in the script, and it was Simmi, and I started learning that, and I was like, oh wait, hold on, I'm learning. I'm being seen for
Yeah.
Sweetie. I need to change that. So and then I got reading, and I taped for Simmy, and I just thought she was so fearless. She was It was so refreshing to read an Asian woman, but not stereotypical. I mean, a lot of the characters Prav has written, they're not stereotypical. They're so layered. She was a badass. She's not that sort of damsel in distress waiting for the guy to rescue
Yeah.
her or anything. Like, she stands on her own feet, and she's just like, I've got this, I don't need a guy. Without giving too many spoilers away, but romance does blossom, as you know. But she was just so refreshing to read, and we rarely get scripts where the two leads are South Asian. It's very rare.
South
So
Asian
that
women, I loved that so much.
Yeah, and the women in this film are the heroes.
Yeah,
There's
they are.
Gurbaksh, who plays the mum, Seema plays the mum, and they're just fierce women. They're such strong women, and I think that was the pull for me. Was like, you know what? It's so nice not to do a stereotypical South Asian sort of character.
Mhm.
So yeah, that was the main thing.
Um, I think Pravesh is really, really good at writing those female roles, isn't he? Like he does it
Oh,
so well.
he's so amazing. He writes like the best female parts. Like, it's amazing in all his plays and all his writing.
So you mentioned learning Punjabi then, and so you are a Punjabi speaker, but the Punjabi in this film, like your Punjabi was so good. And what I loved about the film is that it you better, like, if you don't want spoilers, stop listening now and then join again when you listen, right? So because I'm gonna just talk more about it. That a lot of it is in Punjabi with the subtitles. Like he didn't make any kind of like compromises on that, which is really nice because it's so authentic. But your Punjabi is so good that I'm sure some people who watched it and when they heard you talking afterwards were like, "Oh my god, she's actually from this country. She's British." Did you have to work on that, or is that the Punjabi that you normally speak at home?
No, not at all. I mean, it's so funny because when they watch it, and we've been doing a couple of screenings, and we do Q&As afterwards, and everyone's coming up to me going, "Where we were expecting someone from India or something, and you come up with this like British accent," and they get really like they're really confused, which is a good thing. I'm like, great, you
Yeah.
bought it. I'm happy. That's the best compliment I can ever get. But yeah, I did. There was a lot of because I do. Fortunately, I spoke Punjabi anyways at home with my grandparents and my parents and everything. But I think when you go to sort of like TV or film or radio, it's a slightly different Punjabi. It's a little bit more sort of, as they say, tiered Punjabi,
Mm,
and that's what I was worried about. Is me, and Prav is like all about authenticity, and he wants to
yeah.
be as authentic as possible, and that was my sort of challenge as well in this film, was to make sure it was as authentic as possible. So there was a lot of Punjabi lessons, sitting down with my parents, really going over a lot of the language and how it would be sort of constructed, and lots of vocal exercises to get that sort of palette into Punjabi. And yeah, lots of work went on behind the scenes.
Wow. So let's just talk about your parents there, because you've got a famous dad, haven't you?
I do, yeah. He's like a Punjabi, Punjabi. Yeah, so my
Oh,
dad is
thank you.
Kumar. My dad is Kumar from Hero Group, which is, yeah, is a Bhangra band, sort of, yeah, you know, Mar Chirappa, Dove Janiya,
Oh,
Saskutni,
my
all those
God.
classics. Yeah,
Oh my
exactly.
God, I'm not even joking. At primary school, me and 2 other girls did a dance in assembly to that song.
Love it. I love it. Love. Is there a video? Is there a
No, there isn't, thank God. Oh, wow, okay. So right, so the whole showbiz performance and everything is, you were not a stranger to that. Do you think
Mm.
that that kind of influenced your desire to perform?
Oh, massively. You know, growing up, I've very fortunate to be around such creative people, not only just my dad, but his colleagues and other bands, other singers. So, you know, I've always been in a sort of musical creative field, so definitely seeped in. You know, watching your dad perform is such a surreal moment. At one point I thought everybody's parents did this, and we toured, and you know, we'd be on the road with them as well, because dad wanted us to sort of see the world with him and tour with him, so we were quite fortunate enough to see a lot of the world that way. But yeah, yeah, definitely watching sort of, you know, him in his element, and the band and everything. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I wanted to sort of have a little bit of that as well. And yeah, I'm trying.
Were they those parents that when people came over, they were like, "Aja, dance sikha de, gana ga de." 'Cause,
They
I'm
didn't have
from
a
that
choice.
family. I'm from that family. Literally, get your guitar out, start singing that one song you know, 'cause we've got
Love
guests
it.
over. Were your
I love
family
it. I was yeah, definitely they were, but I didn't think people had a choice. Like, there was already going to be a show. I already was selling the tickets, and you know, they had no choice. So I was always dancing around and doing something silly, and yeah, it was always and my cousins, I'd get everyone to sort of we'd put on a show, and it was really like we had rehearsals and everything, and these were family gatherings.
Yeah. Yeah, I identify with that seriously, yeah. I think I forced my cousins and my sisters into a lot of, performances that they probably didn't wanna be part of. But then what about the acting bug? Like, when did you start, doing acting? Did you go to drama school?
Yeah, so I think it all started with dancing first. I was really into dancing, went to dance classes like all my life, and then I got like the acting bug. I got this part on a film, and it was very small, and I had nothing. I didn't have any idea about acting. Like, I didn't know what it was. I mean, I've always done school plays, and you know, always wanted to be in like musicals at school and stuff like that. Obviously, that was always burning, and the interest was there, but I remember that one so profound, and I was like, this is amazing. I was on set, I was seeing how it was working, and I was just obsessed. I wanted to just learn more about it and be like, I need to learn this craft, like this technique, because on TV, any film, it's such a technical skill to have. And I was just like, I need to know what's going on. I want to know what that is, and I want to know what that camera is and how they do this shot and everything. So I just
Mm,
got really sort of engrossed in that. And then I auditioned for drama school and went to Arts Ed, which is Andrew Lloyd Webber School, and I was the only Asian in the whole year, and yeah, it was the best year. I got to train something you love. Never feels like work.
yeah. What was that like though, like going into that world from your background of like, Punjabi, Bhangra shows and all this kind of thing, surrounded by family, then you're the only Asian at this drama school?
Yeah, I mean, I went to an all Catholic school as well, so I was used to sort of
Right.
being the only Asian person there, so that wasn't too hard. But it it was just, you know what, it was the first time you're with like-minded people, and you know, it's like the craft, the work takes over, and it's all about this collective sort of just trying to learn, absorbing as much as we
Mhm.
can. You know, when you love something and you're so passionate about the craft, nothing else really matters. It's just you're there for this, like this one thing that you all love. And in fact, it was great because being sort of like the only brown person just makes you ping a little bit as well. So
Yeah, you got your USP, yeah. So what was your first role?
So
TV and
my
stuff.
so TV, yeah, was my first TV was Ride. So I came out of drama school, auditioned for Ride, lucky enough, and yeah, I played one of the lead characters on, yeah, it was a Nickelodeon show, which we filmed out in Canada and Northern Ireland, which was just such an amazing experience. And just being part of Nickelodeon, you know, a TV channel that I've grown up watching,
Yeah.
and you know, I didn't always see people that looked like me on there, so being that person was such a surreal moment. Like, wow, I get to be the brown person. You know, I was always looking for them when sort of I was watching that channel, and then suddenly being like, oh, I can be that. And then the love that you get, like girls messaging you going, oh my god, we can do this, is like just amazing.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that is awesome, and I was also looking for the brown characters growing up, and I think I just used to then end up identifying with the black characters because everybody else was just not of color. So
Yeah.
you know, it is lovely to see some for girls to see somebody like you for brown girls. What did your family make of everything? Like, you know, you getting that first role and now this Little English.
They're so supportive, you know. They're so I mean, this industry is hard. It is hard work, and it's, you know, my dad also being from that industry, a similar industry, he was so like open about the fact that this is not going to be easy. When I went into it, he was like, do it, I'm going to support you, I'm with you. My parents were really supportive, but they were like, just know it's hard, it's not easy, and you're going to have to work at this. And I'm still doing that, you know. We're still grafting, we're still working, um and but when these moments do come, it's just so overwhelming, and you celebrate them, but then you're back to sort of
Yeah,
auditioning again, and
yeah.
literally living with an actor, like they had to learn, you know, that it's not always hunky-dory, you know. They've had to put up with self-tapes, read with me, do my lighting, be my camera person. Like, you know, they get it, you know. They have to be quiet. Like, even now I was like, I'm gonna be on Zoom now, I'm quiet. You know, they just, yeah, they've adapted so well to it as well. But yeah, they love it really secretly.
Oh, but that's so nice that they were so supportive because obviously,
They love
you know, a lot of parents aren't. I think my parents would have been like, "No, just be an accountant or a lawyer or something like that." You
it.
know, those typical things. But I think we are changing a little bit. Obviously, your dad and you know his line of work helped as well, which is cool.
Mm.
So spoiler alert here. But you know, there is a kiss in the film, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because um you know, us I'm from a Punjabi family, as are you, and, you know, it can be quite, like, orthodox and stuff, like, is it doing those kind of things, is that kind of do you have to think, "Oh my god, my family," about things like that, or is it just like, "You know what? It comes with the job?"
Definitely. I mean, it comes with the job. It's in the script. And I've always sort of, it's the job. It was, you know, you roll up. You know, you don't you know, there's things like in other professions that you have to do, maybe
Yeah.
like, because it's part of the job. It's telling the story. I'm an actor, and that's the main thing. I had to tell Simmy's story. I think you have to remove yourself from those things, and if people don't we are in 2023, and you know, if we're still having those conversations, and I get it, I completely get it, because there was a bit like, oh, I don't know if I want to do it. Like, I even had those reservations. I was like, I don't know how I feel. And every time that screen, that bit comes on, I remember being at BFI, and we had this our first screening, and my parents were there. I held Prav, going, oh my god, my dad's watching, my dad's watching, my dad's watching. But then you kind of take yourself out of it, because even in the moment, it's not me, it's Simmy, and it's
Yeah.
Simmy's story, and that's what takes like precedent over anything. And it's about, I need to make people feel something, that, and it was important for, especially for Simmy and Harry's story, because
It was.
everything was
Yeah.
leading up to that moment. So without that moment, you don't get the story, because, you know, the whole way through you're rooting, because there's been moments during the film, like, as you know, spoiler alert, but that was the ultimate thing, and it was really important. So I mean, there are things that I wouldn't do, where I won't feel comfortable, but for this film, it was important for their
Mm.
story to sort of have that ending. And by that point, people are always clapping and rooting and cheering. So
Yeah.
it was very important to the story, and it's our jobs.
Yeah, yeah. No, but thanks for being honest about it because it, you know, although you're saying it is our jobs, you know, there is that still we have our our parents to, you always feel a bit funny, even like I talk about sex on this podcast, and sometimes, when I'm doing my social media posts, and my parents follow me on social media and they like every single thing that I put out there. And sometimes I'm like, oh my God, they're going to be like, they're going to know I'm talking about sex and that I've actually had sex, even though I've actually got 3 children to show for it. But you know what I mean? You do feel a bit, you still feel like that. And this is my job. And, talking about these things and whatever, and bringing attention to certain things that need to be talked about is my job. But you do feel a bit like, yeah.
Yeah. There's always that. Like every time it still comes on, I'm like, they're watching. But yeah, I mean, they haven't mentioned, we don't talk about it. We don't.
Oh, yeah.
We don't talk about it. Like it's not a thing. But yeah, but I think they get it. They get that it's part of the job, and well, I hope they do. We've never spoken about it.
Well, you know what? The thing is, like, even now, like, I feel like in the UK, in America, even in like Hindi dramas that you see on Netflix or even in Bollywood, it's changed. It's not like how, like when we saw that kiss in Raja Hindustani and it went on for ages and you wanted to like die because you were with your whole family. It's not like that anymore. It's quite normal, isn't it? That kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, as you're watching more and more, especially like Netflix shows and stuff like that, some of them can be very raunchy and like, you're like, oh, I'm always asking my sister, I'm like, is this safe to watch with mom and papa? Like, if she's watched it before. But yeah, no, they have gotten very daring and stuff. But again, if it's part of the story, if it's telling the story, then if it's just there for the sake of it, then you kind of like, come on, like,
Yeah.
do you really need that? But you really just need to look at the story and be like, is it helping the story? Is it telling that world? So yeah, just depends on the story.
Have you been influenced by Bollywood? Is that something that you grow up with?
Yeah, I mean, I watched a lot of Indian cinema growing up. I hate the word Bollywood, because they're in Indian cinema, like you get Punjabi films, you get Hindi and Telugu and everything. So massively, my dad is a massive Dharminder fan, Amitabh Bachchan fan. So we grew up watching like Sholay and like every single name, just name it. We were watching it for the songs as well, because he loves the songs. And yeah, definitely. I mean, they're such a great way of connecting us to our roots, being out in the UK, being here, we don't always get exposed to that world, so they're a great way of connecting to your culture. And there's so many things I learned about my culture by watching them. So yeah, definitely been influenced by them. All the songs, I mean, I used to get mum's chunnis and be in front of the mirror for hours dancing to my like favorite songs. I still do it and like they just feel good, and they just take you away. I mean, I feel like a lot of Indian films, just there's such escapism, like you sit there and you're just gone into this other world. And yeah, I love them. Definitely been influenced.
And is that a world that you would want to kind of experiment with, go into at any point, or you like what are your aspirations in that way?
If it's to Indian cinema, I mean, I don't mind. It just depends if it's the right script, the right opportunity. I never say never to anything. Just I don't I don't know. Sometimes we're so unique being British Asian actors, because sometimes we're not thisy enough for those parts and we're not kind of Western enough for other ones. So you're always we're in our own little world, in our bracket, and you're never right for either. So what was beautiful about Little English was the fact that Prav made that world for us British Asian actors, which we don't always get. We don't
No.
always get those stories. We don't always get that that sort of that opportunity. We just don't get that. And I got to have my Bollywood moment in the film. Like
You
I
did,
don't
you
I
did.
got that was the one thing I read it and I was just like, right, yes, I'm doing it, because I don't know if I'm going to ever be casting one of those Bollywood films, and I got my Bollywood moment, and that's because
Yeah.
I mean, it was Bollywood gone wrong, but I got that moment. So I'm very grateful to him for making that for us, because yeah, it's going to be with me forever. We had so much fun shooting that day as well.
And the look of Simmy, like those like wedge sandals and like the suits and things like that. How much influence did you have over that, or was that just okay, this is what you've got, this is your wardrobe?
So Andy Kumar did all the costume designing on the film, and he's amazing. He had an idea. He knew exactly what he wanted. And what's so interesting about Simmy's wardrobe, and this is something Prav and Andy sort of had visualized, is that they're in this house. It's very drab. The only color is actually Simmy. So that would be in her suit. So you'll when you watch it, she'll have like red, and color in our culture, especially a married woman, is so important. She should be having all her colors and her chura and every nail varnish. We spoke about every single thing, like from the color of Simi's nail polish to to her chunni, how it's going to be laid, if her hair's going to be up. And if you watch, it's so as the movie progresses, her outfits sort of change as well. Like, she hasn't got a chunni on in some points. Her hair is down. When she arrives, it's in a plait, and by the end of it, she's this sort of woman with her hair out, and it's freedom. And all these things were thought about, and it was very detailed and particular, and which I'm so grateful. She hasn't got her cardigan on by halfway through, whereas before she's this like really small naive person, and by the end of it she's like, yeah, dupatta is like red and open, and her hair's open. But we definitely, I would try it on, and yeah, they just knew what they were doing. And a lot of her suits were quite simple as well. I don't know if you saw, they weren't, apart from her wedding outfit, which, the idea was that, her parents would have got this elaborate jewelry and elaborate outfit. So that's the only time you really see her like, that
Like
kind of
gold, yeah.
bridal. Yeah. But yeah, it was so much fun to try on her suits and her outfits. It was great. Loved it.
Oh, that's so cool. And these little details, I love it because they do make a difference, and they do, they make it more authentic, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So Ramit, what are the actresses that have inspired you?
Well, recently it's definitely been the actresses in this film. I mean, we've had a couple of screenings. I'm having to watch the film quite a bit, which is it is good. But I come away thinking, wow. I mean, I was speaking to Seema yesterday, Seema Bowery, who plays Gurbaksh.
She's
She's
awesome.
so much younger than Gurbaksh, right? You would never think that that's her. She's absolutely amazing. Like, the way she plays Gurbaksh, and it's just phenomenal. And because I know Seema off screen now, and I watch more and more, and I watch it on screen, I'm just blown away. I'm so inspired by her. Nikki Patel, the way she plays Sweetie every time. And
So
these women
good.
I know off
So
screen
good.
now.
Yeah.
And Goldie, the the comedy that she brings, she's so effortless. And it's definitely these women at the moment that are really inspiring me, because I'm getting to know them so much off screen as well. And then I watch them and I'm like, that's not you. And they transform into these characters. So yeah, I'm their fans at the moment.
Isn't that so nice though? Like, you work together and it's like building this nice network of brown
Mm.
women and empowering each other. That's so nice.
It's one of the best things about this film has been like, it honestly feels like family. A lot of us said this. We go on to sort of, we work in places where we're probably the only Asian in that production or whatever, like majority. And this was the first project I've done where we've all been sort of South Asian and from the same areas. And it was so lovely because the jokes, it was a really family atmosphere. Like, we got it. We got each other's jokes. We weren't conforming or being something we're not. And it's the first time in my career that I felt like it's up near, and we're just the same. And we had so many, I've taken so much from all of them. It's been amazing.
Mm. I have to say, like, when I came to that screening, like afterwards, there was, like people were just milling around and there was like drinks and whatever. And the atmosphere was so nice. And I feel like everybody was so approachable, like, the cast and the crew and, the production team and everybody who was there. Like, I just feel like it was such a nice atmosphere, because sometimes you go to these things and it's like, I'm in the corner because I'm like, oh, do you know what? I just can't do this, because it's very much like, I don't know, like, when people are very show busy or whatever, it depends, doesn't it? It can be a bit
Mm,
like that, like cliquey and stuff. But I just feel like everybody really was very approachable, and it was just kind of a place where everyone just wants to see each other win, which is nice.
mm. Oh, I'm so glad you felt like that, because I've definitely been to some of those events as well where you're just like, oh my God, I don't know if I should say something. But it was do you know what? Every time we have these screenings, it's such a chance for us all to get together again, and it's like, come join the party, you know. It's such a
Yeah.
lovely sort of vibe, and I'm so glad you said that. Like, I'm so happy, and thank you for coming. It was so lovely to
Oh,
see
of
you there.
course, of course. So, Rameet, what is next for
Mm.
you? Future projects? What's going on?
Yeah. So, you know, as soon as we wrapped on Little English, back on auditioning, back on the grind. But I start rehearsals for Happy Birthday Sunita, in 2 weeks' time, I think it is, and we go on tour. That's with Rifco, a theatre company, which is Pravesh's theatre company, and I play Harleen, and she's absolutely the opposite of Simmy. She can't
Yeah.
speak Punjabi. She is completely the opposite. So so that will be fun.
And that goes to about 8 venues, doesn't it?
Yeah, we're touring. It's just under 3 months, and we're going to Windsor Royale. We're going to what we start in Watford Palace Theatre, and I'm sure if you go on to Rifco
Newcastle,
Theatre,
like Hornchurch,
Newcastle,
there's loads of
Leeds
venues,
Playhouse,
isn't there?
Hornchurch, yeah, all over the shop. But you can definitely like find it on my socials and Rifco's socials.
And
Yeah.
have you done something like that before, like a multi-venue theatre tour?
Not a multi-venue theatre. No, no, no. I've done theatre, but not with Rifco as well. So I'm looking forward to it. I've done a lot of like sort of like TV and film for such a while, for a while. So it's going to definitely whip me back into shape, I
Yeah.
think.
No, well, I can't wait to see it. I'm so excited about it.
Thank you.
Were you in EastEnders as well?
I
Did I see
was,
something?
yes. Like
Has this been on?
last week. Sorry.
Has this been on? Have you been on?
My episode, yeah, it's been on.
Oh my,
Yeah, I
I need
think
to
it was
watch that.
last week. Yeah, it was last week. I had so much fun on it. And yeah. Do check it out if you get a chance.
I will. God, that's so cool. That is so
It's
cool.
really funny though, because like a lot of since I've been an actor, the only question I get asked is, when are you going to be on EastEnders? Is from like my family, and it doesn't matter if you've done like anything else. It's just, when are you on EastEnders? That's when you've like really made it. And I was like, I remember doing it, and I couldn't really tell anyone about it because it's part of a
Yeah.
storyline, and then I found my cousins there who love EastEnders. I was just like, this is for you guys. Here you go. Like, it was just, they were so excited,
It's an
and it's such an
institution. Yeah.
iconic show to be
It
part
is.
of. Like,
Yeah.
it was amazing. I had such a great time on it.
Oh, that's so cool. So Ramit, if people want to get a bit more info about you, things that you're working on, can you just share your social media handle?
Yeah, sure. So I'm on Instagram at Rameet Rauli, just my name. I'm sure you got it there somewhere. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, under Rameet Rauli as well, keeping it very simple. Yeah, you can just follow me on there, and yeah.
And also, people should follow Little English, shouldn't they? So I think it's at
Yes,
Little
please.
English, isn't it, on Instagram?
Yes,
So
it's at Little English, and you can find out where we're playing. It's www.littleenglish.com. I can't remember. But yes, the website's there with all the listings. We're in Cineworld, View, Feltham. Wait, Cineworld, Feltham. It's all there. It's all there. It's all and we're doing a couple of special screenings as well, where we have the Q&As. The
yeah.
next one, I believe, is in Riverside Studios in Hammersmith, where there'll be cast and crew. And then we've got Maidenhead on the 5th of April. So yeah, do come down and join us and have a little chat.
Oh, that's amazing. So, Ramit, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on. And I feel like this is just the beginning for you, and I'm here to see it all. I'm here for it.
Thanks, girl.
I'm sure that I'll be seeing you again soon. And I just want to say also that, I get how this whole back to the grind, have your moment with the spotlights on you, then it's working away. And I just want to say, enjoy the moments, because you deserve it and you've worked really hard. So take it all in,
Thank
and it's
you.
quite
Thank
overwhelming.
you. And thanks for supporting us, because it's like you who we need to sort of chat with and have these conversations. So thank you for having me on this. I love your show as well, and I love listening to your talks.
Thank you so much. And